Right then, welcome back to the channel. It's time for the player ratings, and we're going to go out of 10. You might not think these are out of 10 because the average score is going to be pretty low, but they are out of 10. Starting with Onana, who's getting a 3. It was a bit of a disastrous performance for Onana. Obviously, the error giving Brighton their third goal, but he only made one save. There was no commanding interventions. There was a complete lack of confidence from him, which is evident. His passing accuracy was 54%, which obviously highlights a lack of effective distribution, which is meant to be like this particular goalkeeper's strongest point. 4 out of 15 long balls finding the target. It's clearly Amorim's tactics at the moment to kind of bypass high-pressing teams. But it's so ineffective. We might be better giving throw-ins, so we can actually organise. We might be better just smashing it as far as we can and letting it go out for a throw-in. Because when we let it go long and stay in play, because we're set up, most of the time that we do these, we're actually set up in not quite playing out shape and not quite win the second ball a la Stoke, a la English football throughout the 80s sort of shape to recover it. Like, we're sending these long balls quite often without any thought to the greater setup of where the 11 players or 10 players are on the pitch. So the ball just comes back. I think we might be... If the idea is we don't really feel like playing out at all costs, we don't mind going long, go long and send it out for a throw-in. Then we can organise. That we can do some shit rather than just... The faster it goes forward, the faster it comes back when you're not organised and not ready to receive it. It was hesitant when it came to dealing with the low crosses, and obviously one of them completely fudged us. It's been a bit of a string of underwhelming performances lately, and quite a lot of people are, being overreactionary because that's what they like to do, but yeah, it's not entirely without merit. To a greater or lesser degree. De Ligt, 6. And what I'm about to say next is both true and depressing. It was one of our better performances. And he got a 6. 87% pass completion, 8 accurate long balls, 5 clearances, 2 block shots. He's getting very good at the block shots. He's shown awareness in some very key moments, but he lacked any sort of cohesion in the partnership alongside Maguire. Brighton's movements exploited gaps not just between his lines but in between him and Maguire. He did win 5 out of 7 of his duels, but he didn't track runners effectively, and that led to some of United's, or contributed at least, maybe not led to, but it certainly contributed to some of United's defensive struggles. Wasn't the primary cause of the collapse, but he didn't prevent it either. Maguire, 5. I think it was a frustrating performance out of Maguire. 7 clearances, 4 aerial duels, 1. Showed some defensive instinct out of him, but the lack of agility and the slow reactions repeatedly targeted by the dynamic Brighton attack. His passing was okay, 87%, 11 accurate long balls, just showing that United were going long frequently in this game, both from the goalkeeper, but also from, we've mentioned 2 defenders so far, we've gone long from both of them quite frequently. Rarely broke the Brighton press, didn't help United transition effectively into midfield, was also dribbled past quite easily, caught out of position during the second goal. The limitations of him being in a high line, again, highlighted. Euro. Again, crispy on the ball, 92% pass accuracy. He had 5 clearances, but he struggled again. I don't know if it's the physicality of the Premier League. He was better in his duels. He won 6 out of 9, which is, I think, his best showing so far when it comes to duels. He's very much in the 25-30% of winning kind of range. So he was better in his duels, but he was backing off too much, especially as they came into our box. He's got to be firmer. He's got to be a lot stronger in those sort of situations. He's got to be able to deal with players cutting back in on the inside of him a little bit better as well. He did concede 2 fouls. 1 led to a dangerous set piece. As we've said for the entire season, his composure in possession is encouraging, but the inexperience when it comes to defending, system defending, and defending the channel led to some quick switches of play and some dangerous moments from Brighton. He's young, he will improve, but he's not in a good run of form really at the moment, and you can't pretend he is. Delo 6. I think he was a grafter, but you know, he did have 5 clearances, 2 interceptions, 2 blocked shots. But again, can he get tighter for some of the crosses? We was woeful on crosses, and he was woeful with crosses. No successful crosses, no key passes. He attempted to support the attack with overlapping runs. Probably should have had a free kick, which might have resulted in something early in the game. Lost possession 17 times. Lack of precision in his decision making. Okay defensively. Did nothing going forward. Mazraoui. One of the worst games for Mazraoui, who's been... He's probably our second best player this season, right? Yeah, it's our second best player. Behind Ahmad is Mazraoui. Would you agree? Would you agree on that? Would you agree on that? It's a fucking low bar, I know. But would you agree on that? 83% pass completion, 3 tackles, didn't impose himself at all going forward. Defensively, he was dribbled past twice, won only 1 of his 7 duels. A rare shit performance from Mazraoui. Got isolated, just got fucking carved up, to be brutally honest with you. Ineffective with a link-up play with midfield and no meaningful width in attack. Poor performance from him. Poorest performance we've seen from him.
Happy New Year, everyone. With 2025 here, it is the perfect time for a fresh start. We all have a habit that we would love to leave behind, and whether that's nail-biting, doom-scrolling, or, well, you know the one. Breaking free is tough. But what if I told you that there is a healthier, guilt-free way to fill that void? Introducing Fume, the sponsor of today's video. Fume is a revolutionary flavored air device that lets you replace bad habits with good ones in a natural and satisfying way. There is no nicotine, there are no batteries, there are no toxins. It's just flavored air that's as sleek as it is effective. Fume is crafted with care, it's high quality, it's got a weighted design that feels amazing to use, and it looks great too. Plus, it's not addictive, and making it a perfect alternative for anyone looking to do a fresh start. They've got flavours like cinnamon hearts, black licorice, and the fan favourite, spearmint. There's something for every single person. Spearmint in particular gives you a clean, refreshing sensation. It's perfect for tackling New Year head on. And here's the best part. Fume delivers flavour to your mouth, not your lungs. It's completely vapor-free. You can use it anywhere, at work, in the gym, even during a cozy night in. It's also great for calming anxiety with satisfying snaps, clicks. It's got magnetic interactions to keep your hands busy. Over 300,000 people have already made the switch. Why not make 2025 the year that you join them? Use the code Stephen Howson, that's STEPHENHOWSON, at tryfume.com to get your free Fume topper with the journey pack. Just head to tryfume, that's TRYFUM.com, or scan the QR code on screen.
The guy 4, his aggressive approach missed. I've loved his aggressive approach in virtually all the rest of the games he's played for us. He made 3 tackles and he did attempt to disrupt Brighton's rhythm, but he was dribbled past 4 times and frequently caught out of position. The spacing and positioning of our midfield too was fucking dog poo, right? Him and Mainoo were poor in it. His passing was simple, 85% completion, lacked creativity, didn't connect with any of the forward players. Brighton's midfield passed him too easily. There was a bit of a tactical indiscipline from him. It was a disappointing performance from a player that we thought was on the up and up in terms of his form. Mainoo, not quite the same. He did show glimpses of potential, 91% pass accuracy, 2 tackles, but he struggled to influence the game at all. Lost the ball 7 times, which isn't drastic, but there was just a complete limit of defensive contributions. You know, he really struggled to cope with the pressing game of Brighton when they were on the ball, couldn't really slow them down. Again, someone that was starting to have a bit of an upward trajectory in terms of his performances, flatlined, poor 5. Bruno Fernandes, the effort's always there with him, right? So that's not something you can really say anything about. 4 accurate long balls. I think, again, better when he gets moved backwards. He was United's primary outlet, but he loses the ball 22 times. And we didn't create anywhere near enough. So when you're the main creator and you're not creating, what do we have to say about that? 1 interception, 1 tackle. Work rate was there. He had an error that led to a dangerous Brighton attack. As captain, you can't fault his work rate, but he didn't do anything to inspire or turn the tide the other way either. So I've said 6, haven't I? I'm going to say 5.5 actually. Xerxes won the pen. Like, do you know what? He was better than Højlund's been, right? He was involved heavily in duels and put himself about a bit. 7 out of 17. It's a lot of duels to be involved in. It's a lot of duels to win. Shown good physicality. Looked like he had a bit of impetus. Looked like he fucking cared, which is more than you can say for a lot of these players. And he was better than Højlund has been, but it was still a 6. Like, I can't tell you it was a 7 or an 8 because it wasn't. Hard working, ultimately unproductive, unremarkable performance, but it was better than what we've seen out of Højlund. He needs to start again on Thursday night. Diallo, 6. Again, one of the livelier players. I told you the fucking rating for De Ligt was like as good as it was getting. 77% pass completion, which is low for him. 4 key passes. That's what you're talking about. There's your creativity. Won 8 out of 12 of his duels. Do you know what? This might be a 6.5. It might. Do you know what? No, it's a 7. It's a 7. It's a 7. I'm at a 7. His dribbling wasn't quite as good. 1 out of 3. End product was lacking from him. Did find himself isolated a little bit, but he's shown promise. A little bit of lack of support. Can't all be on him. He's a fucking rookie still. Can't put it on him. Where's the senior fucking players? Step up and do some shit. You absolute shitebags. So 7 for Diallo. And then we had Garnacho coming off the bench. 5, limited time to make anything. 4 out of 6 passes in 25, 26 minutes, something like that. Didn't do anything. Lack of defensive awareness. Left United a little bit vulnerable during counters. Could be orders. We could have been told to gamble and go for it a little bit. Energy was there, but again, decision making just wasn't. Toby Collier, 5. 95% pass completion. Passes were obviously just safe. Didn't contribute offensively with them. Didn't make a noticeable impact in terms of defensive output. Anthony, 4. It's just fucking crap, isn't he? He had 4 touches of the ball. Didn't influence the game. Didn't look like he even knew the players that he was playing with, to be honest with you. Looks like he's off to Betis. That looks like it's all sewn up. Can we draw a chapter under him? It was the worst signing that the Premier League's ever seen. And Amorim, he gets a 4. Tactical setup left us exposed. I don't understand how the tactical setup that works for teams like Liverpool, like Arsenal, like Manchester City, Brighton are in that vein. They're not the same, obviously, and they don't have the same quality. But if they're in that vein and they're going to play a similar sort of way, why are we completely ineffective against them when we have been effective against them else in teams that do that, the sort of things that they do well elsewhere? I'm not going to ask him to change his formation because I don't believe in hiring someone and then telling them how you want them to play. Like, you hire him because of how he plays. You fucking make him play how you want to play. He needs backing. But that's United's 10th league defeat of the season. He's going to have to start winning some games. Does that mean abandoning his philosophy? No. But there were things that was working. United were better when Ahmad was playing as a wing-back and we had more offensive players in the team. Now Ahmad is playing in the 10. It worked against Manchester City. It's barely worked since. There's things that you can control and there's things that you can't control. Maximize the things that you can control that are working and minimize the things you can control that aren't. That's all a manager can do. You can't unmake mistakes for players. You can't legislate for Onana dropping the bollock he did for the 3rd goal. You can't legislate for players not pushing up at the line at the same time or defenders allowing crosses and shots from areas that they should be fucking closing down. That's not on you. But the tactical setup of the team is. We've got Fulham and Rangers. That should be a gimme for Manchester United. Rangers will be a tough game because it is literally their best day out ever. And Fulham are a better team than us at the moment. We might win neither of these games. Think on that. Give us your thoughts on my ratings. Give me your ratings. See you in a bit.
Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.